challenges face the nation. Listening to certain candidates on political fora, I am glad that the presidential election is not held in December, as Santa would certainly feel challenged given the fact that the pledges made by our political candidates ahead of the presidential elections. On that note, tonight on the show, our topic of discussion revolves around the D-Day, that is the presidential elections 2019. Let me introduce you to our guests this evening. Joining us tonight on the show is Dr. Anil Jayanta, representing the National People's Power, supporting the candidature of Kumar Nayaka, who is contesting under the symbol of the compass. Also joining us tonight on the show is Attorney at Law Lihini Fernando, UNP Municipal Councillor, supporting the candidature of New Democratic Front presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa. Also joining us tonight on the show is Premna Dulavatta, Attorney at Law, representing the Podujana Peramuna, supporting the candidature of Gotabe Rajapaksa, contesting under the symbol of the Pohotua, or the lotus bud. So let me quickly start off tonight's show with Lihini Fernando, UNP Municipal Councillor, supporting the candidature of New Democratic Front candidate Sajith Premadasa, who is contesting under the symbol of the swan. Lihini, last time you were on the show, there was a lot of divide within the UNP. You couldn't make up as to who will be contesting the presidential elections. It was a coin toss between Ranil Wickremesinghe and Sajith Premadasa, and even Karu Jayasuriya for that matter. However, now, just 4 more days to go ahead of the presidential election, do you still think there is divide within the UNP? Or is the UNP going for the elections as a strong, formidable force? Your time starts now.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for having me here today. UNP has always been a party that has upheld democracy and democratic process of electing our candidate, democratic process of selecting our candidate was the method which we followed, and hence on that basis, Honorable Sajith Premadasa was selected to be the candidate of the New Democratic Front. So your question again was? My question is whether the UNP is still divided ahead of the presidential election. Not really. We have put forward our election manifesto, and we are very clear on where we are heading, because our election manifesto, Sajith Premadasa clearly states that he is the leader of a social revolution, that he is the one who is going to change this country. If I may, in brief, highlight a few points. He says in his manifesto is divided into 3 main sections, where he talks about the importance of creating a strong state sector. Secondly, a competitive economy, and also a fair and just society. Also, he talks about the facts of zero tolerance on war on drugs, war on corruption, and war on religious extremism. So these are the pillars, I would say, the basis on which Sajith Premadasa's candidacy and what he delivers is built on. So as you all know, in Sri Lanka we have issues on drugs, corruption, and he positions himself as a leader who will eradicate all this from the country. And going forward, his manifesto is far competitive, I would say, in terms of, and also progressive, looking at Sri Lanka not just on 2020 but also going forward beyond 2025 and 2030, how we can build a sustainable Sri Lanka, because we already know that Sri Lanka is suffering with about 16 million of poor in this country, and the needs of the poor needs to be addressed, because we know successive governments have come, but over the years these poor people in this country have been marginalized, and their needs were addressed, but sustainable solutions were not given, hence they remain in that particular position. So I would say Sajith Premadasa is giving a promise, or not promise, I would say these are things that he will actually do, because his manifesto, he went to Kandy and he gave a pledge on it. It's not just promises, it's a pledge that he pledges to do this for the country, and I think he's a leader of the social revolution. And I want to say, I being a woman, I'm very honored, because no other leader in this presidential campaign has spoken up for the rights of the women. With this 52% of we women, I think, have been not marginalized. Overall, our rights have not been addressed. So Sajith Premadasa, through his Women's Charter, he promises to legalize the rights of the women upon being elected within a period of 3 months. So this, I think, is a significant step going forward.
Lady, you speak about change, you speak about how Sajith Premadasa is going to bring a lot to the table, yes, in terms of his presidency. However, the UNP has been in power since 2015.
Yes.
And you all promised to bring in change even in 2015, the change that you could not implement as a party.
Yeah, let me
correct. How can we have faith or trust in the UNP leadership to take us forward in the next 5 years?
See, we came to power in 2015 and then we were a coalition. We came with a president who was a non-partisan president, and then he goes and gets a membership of the SLFP. And thereafter this whole concept of non-partisan, the whole thing collapses. And thereafter in 2018, October coup, for constitutional coup, we see the divide that is happening. And a UNP government is only appointed in 2019 April. So since 2019 April only, we have been able to deliver all these things in a pure UNP government. So I would say for the last 25 years, UNP has not had a president, and UNP has not had a pure mandate from the people to deliver. So I think this is the chance to select UNP, a pure UNP government with a UNP president who will deliver. So when we are elected, when we are given the mandate, we promise, because we have delivered. We are the country, we are the party that has delivered in the past, and we will certainly deliver.
My next question to you would be, what was the UNP doing for 4 years since 2015? But you don't have to answer that now. Let's get back to that in a minute or so. I want to drag my attention to Attorney at Law Premnath Dulawata, representing the Podujana Peramuna, supporting the candidature of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who is contesting under the lotus, symbol of the lotus bud. Premnath, one of the allegations leveled at the SLPP is the fact that the pack has been shuffled quite well, but the jokers remain the same. What do you have to say to this?
First of all, Samir, I must thank you inviting me for the second time for the show. Another thing, I am not representing the SLPP, but I am supporting this time for the Gotabaya Rajapaksa candidate. Actually, this is the time to have a new president, not to change the parliamentarian or whoever the people they have selected earlier. So I believe the people they will get a mandate to do that after this. So whoever the candidates are here, the presidential candidates, we have to choose the best out of the list. So that is the issue. From the both of the camps, there are some issues with some candidates. There are, because we can point it out some accusation which go into the both parties. There are supporters who like Mervyn Silva, Sachin Was. Now in the past, before 2015, they were really had accusation regarding corruption and all those things. They were in the UMP. There are some leaders like that. But the thing is, this is a vital situation for the country. Country need a good leader, not who is supporting to them. I believe now, if I say, for example, for the Honorable Sajid Premadasa, now there is a big ha-ho regarding Rishad Badruddin and Rauf Hakim, and at the same time Dr. Shafi. They all are on the Sajid stage. But I don't think that this is the time to find out a good leader for the country. And the people will more concerned regarding the security, national security of this country, rather than whether these corrupted people, which side are they in. And the people they will select when the appropriate times come. So first of all, I believe this whole government was, the way they have been acting, it's an important way. Last 4.5 years, they had the opportunity to secure all the people who affected from this bomb blast. They haven't acted on that. So I believe the main focus on this election is that. So the people will think, rather than having the promises, whatever the ideas, whatever the things they are going to get, rather than that, I think the country will see on the national security. Who will take the national security in a serious level? I think
Premnath, let me interrupt you for a second there. You speak about national security, so it's important for me to bring this point across as well. You say that Mr. Sajid Premadasa is being supported by Rauf Hakim, Rishad Badruddin, and even Dr. Shafi, and all these external elements are supporting him. Then what about the candidature of Gotabaya Rajapaksa? We see Mahinda Rajapaksa visiting the prison and seeing and meeting Pilihan. We see Karunamman, who has killed many Buddhist Sinhalese during the 30-decade-long war, supporting the candidature of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. We see Mahinda Gadge saying in Kandy that he is going to build a Muslim school in the Kandy district if he is elected. What is this?
This is actually, we don't have this Muslim Brotherhood issue or whatever. We don't have any in ordinary level. I don't see there is an issue regarding this Tamil single Muslim. no issue
But
at
you
all.
mentioned 3 people,
Yeah.
and all 3 people are Muslims.
Yes, but the thing is, that's what the leaders who supporting
But
the
I
racism.
gave you a statement saying of 2 Tamils and then one.
Yeah, I'll come to
Yeah, okay,
that
yes.
question. Now, I don't think the ordinary level, we don't have any ethnic issue in the ordinary level, because I know regarding this, I'll justify how this bill and other thing. Now, for this East attack thing, I know the Muslim Brotherhood has done their duty, but not this government, because at this moment, at this juncture, once we are talking here, the Muslims have given all the information to the security personnel regarding this Buddha statue incident in Kagol. They have given the information, and what happened? He was shot. He was shot, and still he is unconscious. Still he has done his duty. He has given the information, but not the government. The security personnel, whoever the responsible, they have given the all the information to the government, but not the government. The government didn't act. That's the issue. Regarding your question regarding this Pilyan and Karunamman. Now, Samir, we can't now if we see their past, we can't take the JVP to this discussion. JVP has that kind of history. They have destroyed our public properties. They have destroyed our banks. But it's unfair. I have to answer.
No,
that
no, you
question.
can finish very quickly.
Yeah. So
I just gave you 20 seconds. To wrap
So
your answer.
Pilyan and Karunamman help us on war very in a very big manner, because they have given the information, they have given the whatever the valuable positions, and so we had to have that help from them. So that's how we have defeated the war. So on that occasion, still now those Pilyan and Karunamman they are not asking about separate country. They believe in having a single country in this society. So they don't want a separate country to the Tamil. So when they come to the democratic level, democratic way, we have to give some kind of part. But even though those whoever I reveal those names, even though they are showing they are following the democratic way, they are following the normal procedure, they are abiding the law, but showing that if they are breaking the law, if they are promoting the racism, if they are promoting the Sahara and all those people, that's more dangerous than that.
Thank you very much, Prem. My next question to you would be, splitting the LTTE should go to, the credit should go to Ranil Wickremesinghe, because he was the one who split Karunamman from Prabhakaran in the year 2004. But that question I will ask you later on as the show moves.
We must thank him. We must thank him. He's a very cunning leader.
I now move my attention to, and is that why he should be the next Prime Minister as well, Prem?
I believe he has a great leadership, because he's so.
Thank you very much, Prem.
No, he's so. I have to justify that
I-
also. Otherwise, you will put.
I'll give you an opportunity, but certainly I'll give you an opportunity. But you stopped at great leader. So
Otherwise, he couldn't keep his leadership for a long time.
Right. I move my attention now to Dr. Anil Jayanta, representing the National People's Power, supporting the candidature of Anil Kumar Dissanayake, who is contesting under the symbol of the compass. Dr. Anil Jayanta, when we take a look at the two main candidates, Sajid Premadasa has been Deputy Minister since 2001. You see Gotabaya Rajapaksa handling the Ministry of Urban Development and Defence as a secretary for quite some time, at least a good 4.5 years or so. However, let's talk about Anil Kumar Dissanayake as a leader. He has only been in a ministerial post for nearly 2.5 years. That is also in the Ministry of Agriculture, after signing a collision with the then Mahinda Rajapaksa administration. However, we don't see leadership from Anil Kumar Dissanayake over the last few years. He has always been in the opposition, only has been in government for nearly 2.5 years. How can the people trust on someone like that?
Okay, thank you. Actually, we believe, representing NPP, he has, Anil Kumar Dissanayake has performed his leadership qualities and his duties and obligation to the utmost trust. to the level like he has been given, because he was not elected because all the time, so mandate was not given to him. That is why now we have formed a very a broad front called National People's Power, which is supported by large number of professionals and intellectuals and politicians and all. And even if you take as the opposition leader or maybe representing the opposition party, the Anurukumara Disanayaka has shown his credential as a good leader, but showing what qualities that a leader should have. So basically, when we govern a country, when you rule a country, so irrespective of the fact that so we claim that so leader should be this way or that way, but we need to first address one thing. So when we talk about national politics, what is most important is public interest, nothing else. So in order to adhere the public interest or assure the public interest, you need to do lots of sacrifices, because in this world, either we like it or not, we live in a self-serving society where everyone tries to maximize your own utility. And if you maximize, if you do this thing at the expense of general public, it's really dangerous. So Anurukumara Disanayaka has shown is in his history, in his career, his practice, all the time, he has never utilized any resources or any power, so any practices to gain personal things. So he has sacrificed entire life. So 20-year, almost 20-year, like the parliament history, and 30-year active politics. So there may be some criticism, accusation, and all these things, but even so, those things, so they happen to face these bad situations, not because of attempting to gain something, but because of converting the entire country to a better place where everyone can live in peace and harmony. Because we have to understand, accept the fact that Sri Lanka is a society with lots of diversities. So because it belongs to everyone here, so you may have different identities, what we call identity politics. You may belong to particular nationality, religion, region, sometimes even if you go to the grassroots level, castes, even school, all those things matter. But the thing is, these things can be, can be taken as a matter at that level. But when it comes to national politics, if you take these identity politics, small identities with big identities, that is the danger. Yes.
Dr. Anil Jayanta, a quick question to you before I open the floor for questions from our two young journalists. The NPP is comprised of many organizations, as you said, many professional bodies.
Exactly.
Why support a party, the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, who has a history which is not that great, which the JP itself will not be that proud to speak about? And why did all these organizations unite to support this candidate?
Again, as I just told you, if you just look at the JVP's history, like after 1994, so can we find or categorically a specific thing, any bad about JVP after 1994?
Dr. Anuruddha, you sound like someone from the SLPP. They could probably come and say, find a fault of us since 2016. We've not done anything bad since 2016. All the past doings of from 2005 to 2015, just forget about it. Let's start from 2016. The UNP could probably come and say, forget about 2015, the bond scam and so on and so forth. Let's talk about 2019 onwards, after the coup. So that is not a fair statement.
I agree with that. So I didn't really explain with that sense. So I mean to say, even like any incident 1994, even anything like that we claim that JVP did something bad, I do not accept the fact that they did something bad. So it has to be questioned why JVP happened to be a part and parcel of this process. If you carefully analyze the history, it shows how those who ruled the country, both parties, UNP and SLP, did lots of things or the bad things to the society to maintain the power. So if you take the 1980 to 83 incidents, even 1971, 1989, it's not because that the JVP just took up arms and just went for fighting. It was a result, consequence of the suppression really released by the government. So
Thank you
that
very
is
much,
what we need to have a very different debate on this thing, I suppose, because
Thank you very
actually
much.
I am not a JBP member, but what I have to, I have
But
a
you're
responsibility
supporting- you're
to
supporting the
and say
candidature
this thing.
of Honorable
So
Mansa
I
Naka.
look at that issue from that perspective.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anil Jayant. My next question to you would be, in the event, hypothetically,
Okay.
Honorable Kumar Dissanayake is elected president, who is his prime minister going to be? Is it going to be Mahinda Rajapaksa? Is it going to be Ranil Wickremesinghe? Or is it going to be R. Sambandhan? But that I'll come back to you in a minute or two. I open the floor for questions from our journalists. On to my immediate right is John Fernando, and on to my far right is Shahan Ranatunga. So let's start off with Shahan.
Thank you, Shamir. If I can ask my first question from Lihini Fernando. My first question, Lihini, is how confident are you that Sajid Premadasa can secure a majority at this election?
Certainly, by the looks of it, by the momentum and how the election campaign is running, we are far certain that we are going to exceed 50%. I would say about 52%. We are almost there.
But there's a lot of discussion about the preferential vote and for voters to pick 1, 2 and 3, etc. So that is obviously A, because there are 35
candidates, and if you don't get the 50%, yes. But I think it is very clear at this point when they throughout the entire election campaign that what the position that we are bringing to the table and what we represent. We don't represent extremism. We represent a country, accountable leadership, building the country on strong, sustainable foundations. We're talking about building a system in this country as opposed to a regime and funneling a corrupt system, which was there previously before 2015. We know the family, the nepotism, and what exactly they did. So we are saying that here you have a clear decision to make. Either do you want a family and their stooges, or do you want a system, a democratic system that will uphold the rule of law. And I can undoubtedly say that we have upheld the rule of law through the October crisis, where we were never a party who went on the back door and got the power in this country. So, and also when it comes to religion, when it comes to extremism, we are never a party that funded extremism, whereas the other party is very clear on what their premise, on what they are thriving. If I may bring you this whole...
When you say the other party, which party are you pointing the finger at?
I'm directly pointing to the SLPP camp.
So then I need to throw the question. And then I need to throw that question to Premnath as well to respond, because that is a direct allegation against the SLPP.
Yes, I have some facts which I'd like to mention. Yesterday there was a Mana rally of Honorable Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and that rally was funded by Alauddin Jewellers. Alauddin is the Shangri-La bomber Muhammad Ibrahim Ilhan Muhammad's father-in-law, Alauddin Jewellers. He was the one who funded this Mana rally, and also he afterwards, from what I heard, hosted a dinner for Honorable Mahinda Rajapaksa as well.
Yeah,
So
I want to remind the two lawyers and also the doctor that we will not take responsibility for the statements that you are making on the show tonight. You will have to completely take the responsibility for the statements that you are making. Yes, you can continue, Lini.
So that so it is very clear on on these Easter attacks where the links are. So we know that it's been published by the media on how these how the Tawheed Jamaat organizations were funded. So
Premnath, Tawheed Jamaat and other organizations are being funded during the Rajapaksa era. That is what Lihini is trying to say. So do you agree to this claim?
Actually, she can make out all those allegations, but the people know what is the reality, because they were there for the 4.5 years. They knew everything. They were informed 97 times. So they can't just go away that.
No, the question is not about.
it's not about the East.
Yeah, but
thing is,
all
all those things were started by after this incident happened. And rather than that, the government, the forces, everybody knows these things are going on at the same time. At the same time,
Mahinda Rajapaksa and the Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Mahinda Rajapaksa ended the war of this country. We are not funding any extremists. We are not paying any cents to all those extremists. Thing is this, I just wanted to say.
If I may interrupt, they themselves admitted that they funded.
I must say, when their own cabinet minister stated this is going on, they couldn't act on that. Mujibur Rahman told that this is not going to be happen. You are making a wrong accusation. So this government must be responsible. They can't point it out the people who were there before the war, and these are the people responsible. They were funded those things because they were there, and their cabinet minister clearly showed they won regarding this thing, but just they neglected it. Now they are saying that we are responsible for that. I must say, now it's okay that you can say those kind of things without having proofs. At the same time, you are saying this Manna rally, I heard that this dinner was given. It's good because this is valuable airtime, so you can making those kind of allegations good, but it's good as a learned friend, you can come to points which you have proofs. I don't like to talk regarding whatever the things which I heard this and this other thing, right? And other thing I must complete why I telling Ranil Wickremesinghe is a good leader, great leader. He's from I see, he achieved, he maintained his leadership for long era in United National Party while he was losing 29 elections. At the same time, now I think this whole Sajith Premadasa drama created by him to secure his opposition leadership. I must say this.
And you are confident that Gotabaya Rajapaksa is going to win?
I am really confident because see Samir, after this presidential candidate thing comes up, who directly goes towards Sajith Premadasa and supported.
Now you're so confident that Gotabaya Rajapaksa is going to be elected president, hypothetically, on the 16th of November. So who is going to be the great prime minister subsequent to his appointment?
Actually, we have come here to select a president to the country. So there will be the prime minister will be there.
So Ranil Wickremesinghe will continue.
But the thing is,
will continue as prime
definitely,
minister.
because this is a election for the president. What will happen? Ultimately, all those people from the UNP, whoever, now already they have the JVP member has revealed that there are a lot of people to be crossed over. There are a lot of UMPs to be crossed over. So they had to pay a lot. They have already revealed on that this Lakshman Nipunaraj. So they definitely
now you're basing your argument on hearsay as well.
No, not hearsay. That's where they are. That's where they're not on the newspaper. Okay. So what I am telling, this now I must say, after changing the power of the parliament, because of we know that they will cross over after when the Gotabaya wins, there will be a lot of MPs crossover. So at that time there will be a change of the prime minister.
If I interrupt you there, Lihini, when you mentioned family politics and nepotism, you implemented to which regime, which political faction when you mentioned about family politics and nepotism?
I was referring to the era before 2050.
Right, okay. So, Mr. Dolawat, we have seen representatives from the SLPP or who supports Gotabaya Rajapaksa itself comes up on stage and mentions that if Gotabaya Rajapaksa becomes the president, Mahinda Rajapaksa will become the prime minister, Chamal Rajapaksa will have a high ministerial position in the ministerial. So, even such nepotism, it's clearly seen as family politics. Can democracy prevail in such a situation?
It doesn't show the nepotism because Honorable Chamal Rajapaksa has been in the parliament for decades. So that is, he's not a newcomer, and he was the speaker for a long time. While he was doing that portfolio, he remained in a great respect among the opposition and the government. So I don't see nepotism is there. But the thing is this: regarding the prime ministerial post, there will be definitely change of MPs. The power will be definitely changed. So at that time, definitely there will be a new prime minister.
You were talking about national security and all that happened in April. Now we know that Sajith Premadasa has already said Field Marshal Sar Fonseca will be in charge of defence mechanism. But nothing has been said by Gotabaya Rajapaksa's camp in terms of who will be in charge of defence under his presidency.
So why should he give his national security portfolio to any other? Because he was the secretary for the winning most ministerial post. So definitely he will be the minister. He will take the leadership on that. And the other thing I must say now, why Sajith has given
But he can't, under the 19th Amendment of the Constitution, he can't hold a ministerial post.
The thing is, there is how and for. Again, there will be that whether this 4.5 years can be, the parliamentarian can be dissolved or not. Then we have to go to the Supreme Court. We have to decide. Now they went to the Supreme Court and they said that President can't dissolve the parliament. Thing is, I must say, regarding the giving the defense ministerial post to other like Field Marshal Farah Fonseca, it doesn't show that he do concern about the national security. He would have concern more earlier than that, because when the this Easter attack happens on 21st April, as a cabinet minister, Sajith Premdas knew that on 20th of April, he would have just mentioned in the social media, say, don't go to that places. He didn't do that.
Now, we're talking about the post of Prime Minister. Dr. Anil Jayanta, who is going to be the Prime Minister if hypothetically Anil Kumar Dissanayake is elected President?
Okay, so I just wanted to comment something about this.
Of course, you can comment on that and then come back
first,
to this.
Anyway, first I'll just answer
okay.
this question. So who would be the Prime Minister in case if Anil Kumar Dissanayake will be elected? Of course, we have to understand the fact that whoever who comes to power, like as the new President, cannot dissolve the Parliament until the 2nd March next year. So then we have to understand the fact that like from our part, like NPP, I mean, does not have any members except JVP. So JVP has 6 members in the Parliament. So of course, JVP cannot form a government until 2nd March. Then our candidate, our President, will give the opportunity to Parliament to decide the Prime Minister. So based on the consent of the majority's consent until 2nd March. Of course, on the very first day, when our President can dissolve the Parliament, he will dissolve the Parliament.
So 3 members of the JVP who are currently holding parliamentary seats will not get any ministerial positions in this new cabinet.
No, we will not get it any, because now we don't have real mandate to govern the country, because of course, so like even the desire of the general public, in case if we get more than 50%, it means general public has given the mandate, but as a president, not to the...
No, but this is a presidential election.
Presidential election also, not
a mandate for
general parliament.
Election, yes.
So that is what. But they may have that intention, so that can be seen only on parliamentary election.
You want to touch on certain points that Lihini and also Premanath was talking about. You can speak about that as well.
Then again, now, I mean, after the election, we believe that general election, we will win it in case if Anil Kumar Dissanayake, then we can decide how. So
just I would like to, I'm going with your idea now. Before after the 2015 election, that UPFA has the 2/3 majority of in the parliament. So at that time, 2015, then the Honorable His Excellency the Maithripala Sirisena just removed the Prime Minister and appointed the new Prime Minister. At that time, UPFA had the opportunity to just oppose every act or whatever taking, but they waited there because the people mandate was there. Whether they have given like something like they gave the time to go with the UMP Prime Minister. What I'm trying to say, we criticize that because that is not that was the election for the president to choose a president. Now today, but when the SLPP manifesto is going on, when they presented, once they were presenting this manifesto, His Excellency the 5th Executive Presidency, he just told that we are willing to have a mandate to dissolve.
No, that is not. Premnath, you can't come and put words into people's mouth, because this election on the 16th of November is for the presidential election.
Yes,
not
because
you can't deceive the public by saying the mandate was asked or urged.
What I'm telling you, but we have it was presidented in 2017.
That's not right. That's you being a lawyer. I think you are well read.
No, you are mistaken. What I'm trying to say, something like that. No,
the mandate
we can ask.
There is a mandate. The mandate is only to elect
Samir,
the 7th executive president of Sri
Samir,
Lanka.
I do agree on that.
Yeah.
But I am telling.
But you can't say that the mandate was sought by President Rajapaksa by the people on the 16th of November.
No, not like that. You know, I do agree.
For a prime minister position as well.
4.5 years.
That's not right.
We must wait 4.5 years. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, but you can't deceive the public.
Other thing, I must say what happened. Yeah. I must say what happened. You know, and other thing, we can have the 2/3 from the parliamentary with the whole having the coalition from the whole UMP, JVP, everybody. We know that the mandate has changed, and we can go for a general election. And the other thing is that because but I told you what happened. So as when they delivered the manifesto, they told the public, if you are giving the mandate, we are asking the mandate to dissolve the parliament as well. I am not saying whether legally I am agreeing on that or not, but that is what happened, and it was happening in 1971. When we have brought the
But since
new
1971 to 2019, the
new
people's
constitution.
mentalities have changed completely and drastically. So getting
Yeah.
back to Dr. Anujant,
I
yes,
was
you were
just
saying,
about
yeah.
to say something like, so when we take these two camps who ruled the country for 71 years, like, so each side claims that we rule the country well, the other camp just criticizes that. So whatever said and done, if you just talk to an ordinary person asks, and so are you happy about this country? So what is the current status of this country? So irrespective of any political ideologies, differences, and all these things that everyone has, I believe everyone would agree and say that yes, economy is in the country is in a real mess. Why is that? So mainly because it is not only that the particular camp ruled it, this ruling is connected with a kind of corrupt mafia, a system. The system has to be changed with a very good plan, because this particular system gives opportunities to corrupt people and rogues and all these to rob the nation. So I'll just give you one example. So why we are capable for this thing, why we are suitable for this thing. So we have shown even the JVP to great extent. Take the example of COPE. Actually, COPE was established in 1979. But only recent past, the people talk about COPE, because I asked somebody, one of my friends, so do you know when COPE was established? He didn't know, no, maybe in this government or 19 amendment, so many things. I said, no, in 1979. So why was it since then, it was their functioning. So in a corrupt system, no matter whether you are a legislator or maybe working in the judicial system, opposition party, ruling party, business, clergy, everywhere, either we like or not, we have to accept this fact, they are connected. So unless you break this corrupt system, so this will continue forever.
Dr. Jayanta,
Yeah.
let's talk about the last local government election,
Yes.
where the JVP was not able to garner much support at the local council polls. But let's go back to 2015 general elections to make it much more better, so we can speak about some numbers in terms of votes. The JP was able to get approximately 750,000 votes
Something, yeah.
at the last general election.
General election or?
General election.
Okay.
So, taking into account this number, 750,000 votes, looking at the upcoming presidential elections, 2016 or 2019, 16th of November, how much of votes do you think the JVP will be able to get at the upcoming elections?
Okay. Also mathematically, like I cannot give a number, like, so, because everything depends on general public. So we request them, like explaining everything why we should be selected. So our anticipation, our expectation is to get more than 50% of the vote. So with the, I mean, like
6 times the number of votes that are already the JP voter base is
Yeah.
only 750,000. So if you are looking at over 50% of
Yeah, over
votes,
50%.
You're talking about at least 6.2 million votes.
yes,
To even have a marginal
marginal,
victory.
yes, at least 6
So
million, we'll say.
this seems like a big dream, or
Yeah.
we say in English wishful thinking. Not possible, is it?
Yeah, mathematically, if you just take a series, number series and all these things, so it would not be possible. So, but in politics, things would change sometimes in the short period of time.
But
so
why
this
not?
is,
my question to you is
so
very
this is
simple,
not only
Doctor.
JVP that is now. So this is a very broad front. That's where
But
everyone is joining.
But we have seen Anurag Kumar Dissanayake not contesting the elections in 2015, but supporting somewhat the candidature of Maithripala Sirisena. We did not see him going on political fora and saying that he's supporting, but at the look of it, you could see that he was supporting for change in Sri Lanka. Going and saying that not to vote for President Mahinda Rajapaksa. So why not? The JP would have easily, or the NPP would have easily joined hands with Sajid Premadasa. Why didn't that happen? Because we saw at the no confidence motion, the JP very well supported Ranil Wickremesinghe. But
Yeah, true. But JVP support. It is not that JVP supported Ranil Wickremesinghe or took a stance of someone. Actually, JVP acted so to protect and the secure the democracy. In that case, the support may have gone to Ranil or someone. But answering to your question, so JVP, did not feel a separate candidate and supported Maithripala by that time. So that is alone. It's a the JVP alone. But JVP by that time assessed the political situation prevailed by that time and may have taken into account the contextual factors by that time, because Maithripala Sirisena appeared by that time not as a ordinary candidate, because he came out with lots of pledges and the promises mainly targeting to arrest the corruption and malpractices and misappropriation of funds and all these things. So nevertheless, so indirectly say we supported, but see over a period of 4.5 years, so none of these things have been fulfilled. And not only that, they become a part and parcel of this corrupt regime. So therefore, as a responsible political party, I don't think that the JVP has the moral obligation to support any of this.
Before I go in for a short commercial break, I want to speak to Leni Fernando as well, attorney at law, UNP Municipal Council, supporting the candidature of New Democratic Front presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa. Leni, looking at the past 4.5 years, as far as the UNP is concerned, has been quite bleak. Let's talk about the bond scam. Let's talk about the April 21st attacks that took place in Sri Lanka this year. It has not been hunky-dory. It has been somewhat of a obstacle ride for the UNP. But the UNP can't shy away from it as well, because they were in power. They can't point the finger at the Mahinda Rajapaksa regime and say, you all were ruling the country at that time. It was the UNP that was ruling the country, and it was Ranil Wickremesinghe at the top post, the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka and the Deputy of the Cabinet. Where was Sajid Premadasa in all these instances? The name of Sajid Premadasa, when the bond scam took place, was not heard of. When the April 21st attack took place, was not heard of. When the second bond scam took place, was not heard of. So the allegation leveled by the opposition is he was silent. And how can we trust him to lead the country, at a critical juncture like next year being the highest debt repayment year for Sri Lanka? How can you place trust?
So talking to what you said, yes, I agree to an extent. 2015, from 2015, it has been right, and I don't say that UNP as a government was perfect. Yes, there were shortcomings, yes, but now we are coming ahead with Sajid Premadasa on a fresh mandate. He's a fresh leader coming with a fresh plan. So he's how we will position him, how he is positioned himself as this leader who will do the social revolution in this country. And now let me answer your question on the Easter attacks. You asked where he was. So he was very much involved after the Easter attacks. Yes, he might not have come and spoken in public, but he was involved with this ministry in rebuilding the churches. So he was very much involved. And so he's, as we all know, he was handling a very particular ministry, which he has delivered, I think, one of the most efficient ministries in the country. So yes, but now he is coming ahead with a new plan and with a new team, with hope of that which he is going to deliver. So I think looking at this, people need to have the confidence in Sajid Premadasa, because he is an uncorrupt leader. He's an uncorrupt leader. He doesn't have any allegations.
Look at his statements even now. You tend to believe that. Is Sajid Premadasa thinking Sri Lanka has only one ministry, that is the Ministry of Housing? Because in every political fora he speaks about building houses. And this is what the opposition says.
Now when he's during his campaign, he has spoken on many factors. He's spoken on the government system, how he's going to change the government system. This is how he's going to implement a meritocratic system where right people will be placed in the right position. And he talks about how he will eradicate corruption and how he will not get the corrupted people to his cabinet.
So you mean to say that those involved in the bond scam will be ruled out of this completely new cabinet that will be established.
See, he's saying
hypothetically.
So he's
Sajid
very
Premadasa
clear
wins.
on what he's saying on it's at the policy level. Yes, they will make the relevant decision at the right time because he's saying he will not take any corrupt leaders. So it's up to them, and I believe he's a man of his word and he has delivered. So that's what.
So do you think there are corrupt leaders within the UNP? You don't have to answer that, Lehini. We're going for a short commercial break. Stay connected, stay with Face the Nation. We will be right back.
ජනාධිපති වර්ණයේ සියලු ප්‍රචාරණ කටයුතු නොවැම්බර් 13 වනදා මධ්‍යම රාත්‍රියෙන් අවසන් වේ. තව දිනයකයි.
කවුරු හරි තමන්ගේ ඡන්ද පත්‍රිකාව ලකුණු කළා ඒකේ ඡායාරූපයක් අරගෙන Facebook එකේ දාන එක අපි ඒ වගේම සහතික කිරීමේ නිලධාරීන්ගෙන් ඉල්ලා හිටියා. ඒක වළක්වන්න කියලා. යම් තැනක දාලා තිබුණොත් එම නිලධාරියාට සම්බන්ධ වෙනුත් අපිට ක්‍රියා කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. තත්ත්වය ওই විදියට ගියොත් ඡන්ද පොලේදී බැලට් පේපර් එකක් පෙන්නයි. එතෙන්දිත් පින්තූර ගහයි. ඒක මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ එතකොට? ඊට වඩා හොඳයි ගෙවල් වලට ඡන්ද පත්‍රිකා දීලා ලකුණු කරන එක. මේ කාර්යය සම්පූර්ණ නීති විරෝධී නවත්තන්න අපි දැම්මේ කවුද කියලා ට්‍රැක් කරලා අපිට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් වුණොත් අඩුම ගානේ අවුරුදු 3කට හිරේ යනවා.
Welcome back. This is Face the Nation. We are in conversation with Attorney at Law Lehini Fernando, Attorney at Law Prem Nadulavatta, as well as Dr. Anil Jayanta. Let's start off the third round with Dr. Anil Jayanta. Dr. Anil, you are quite categorically, somewhat, you say, the JP will not be able to get the 50% vote at the upcoming elections. It's quite evident. Let's be very practical, Dr. Anil Jayanta. Can I be practical and say this?
No, the thing is this, practical in the sense, so it has to be defined, like it has to be interpreted. So your practical sense is based on the historical data, mathematical data. So based on that, the projection. So from that sense, so anybody can say, but I do not accept. That is why I believe, no, it's not a simple dogmatic belief, because we engage with general public now. With that we sense how we are supported with that. So categorically, I can say that we will win.
Right. So winning elections is not easy,
Yes,
Dr. Anil
yes, I
Jayanta.
agree.
Winning elections is a lot of things, including pledges made at the political platforms. However, when you look at the manifesto of Andhra Kumar Dissanayake, nothing sugar-coated. It's very point blank. It does, when you read it, you don't feel like, okay, this is something that is attracted towards an ordinary person, because you won't be moved by those manifesto promises that have been mentioned. So how can you attract your 6 million votes at the upcoming elections?
Yes, there are a few things in an election and just releasing manifestos and policies and all. Of course, like no matter, like with the, I mean, we like, how to say, to promote voters or to win, like, of course we need to take votes, but we should not say something or just throw something sugar coated to general public to deceive them. But whatever it is possible, so there are short term arrangements we have mentioned. For example, so one of the biggest problem we are facing is the poverty. Poverty has to be arrested. So there are two major issues with respect to poverty. One is they have been really caged into this so-called Samurdhi program. Other one is due to, from the market, finance market. So large number of people have become victims of this so-called microfinance. So as of now, 2.8 million have taken so-called microfinance loans. The interest rate ranges from 40% to 250%. So therefore, as an immediate measures, we have elaborated how they are going to be rescued. Even in the case of Samurdhi, we do a quick analysis and identify the lowest 600 families and increase the allowance up to the 10,000 rupees. That is an initial measure. So because in the case of microfinance, we quickly work out the interest and the excess interest these companies have charged above the rates prescribed by the central bank. We are going to abolish this, so cut, write them off. So likewise, there are certain things, unfortunately, adequate discussion has not been taken in. But apart from these things, so short term, long term, if you really want to develop a country, we need to have two things. One is a very comprehensive long-term roadmap economic plan which is connected with all the other sectors. So we are doing this thing. We have explained how we are going to do this thing. The second one is the technological roadmap. Now world is moving towards. So next is, now we are moving towards 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution, and next move would be the glass technology. So we have to have a roadmap, because the technology is going to be nothing but it's a cross-cutting activity in all those things, our lives, including the economy. So therefore we are preparing that particular roadmap.
Thank you very much,
we
Dr.
connect this.
Anil, representing the NPP, supporting the candidature of Honorable Kumar Dissanayake, who is contesting under the symbol of the compass. We now move our attention to Premnath Dulavatne, attorney at law, supporting the candidature of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who is contesting under the symbol of the lotus bud. Premnath, we're talking about manifestos now. Looking at the manifesto of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, it seems that this is full of pledges and none of this could be implemented. I can give you a classic example. Let's talk about the payee tax. Gotabaya Rajapaksa promises that the payee tax will be abolished and the income tax would be brought down to 15% against 24% that is being charged at present. Where is Gotabaya Rajapaksa going to find this money now?
Now, Samir,
are we heading to another debt trap as we experienced from 2005 to 2015, or where are we going to find the money?
Samir, we have to stop this corruption. This whole government after 2015, there was a lot of corruption. I have this book, Top 10 Corruptions. Yahapala, Top 10 Corruptions. And I'm thankful to your Sirasa, because I knew that your channel followed this tab thing. This Yahapala government tried to distribute tabs to the A-level students. They were trying to give worth of 8.2 billion rupee worth of tabs, which were from Lenovo. The technology is 2.5 years old. So we were there with you and we try to stop it. And these kind of corruption we have to stop. Now in this central banks scam, this Sajid has promised to take away all the corrupted people. But see who is side him? Sujiva Sena Singh. He just took 3 million rupees from the company, the main suspect from the central bank bond scam. How should they take this government like this way?
No, but
so what I'm telling, stopping this corruption, there will be enough money to maintain the good governance of this country. What I'm telling now, this after 2015, they have introduced for every single citizen to the tax fine.
No, I want to give you a classic example very quickly, Premnath. To speak about the tabs, let's talk about the labs, the computer labs that Mahinda Rajapaksa
Yes,
era, the
yes,
Mahindodaya
yeah,
program
yeah.
that was implemented, unsolicited bids
Yeah,
was given to build computers. I can give you a classic example. Recently, when I was driving my car, I listened to this voice cut, a student saying, we got the computer lab from Namal Rajapaksa. However, the electricity came only after 3 months.
You know, still, actually, there was a investigation going on FCID regarding these labs. I personally went there, mainly accused these honorable education.
Classic example is no electricity, but lab is
the
being
thing is this, because after losing the elections, they were under constructing some labs, because there were 450 labs, something like that, for the whole country. Still, it was there because they can use the buildings are there, and because after defeating 2015, what they have done, they just changed the names and they opened it. We don't mind changing the name or what, but the buildings are there, still the labs are there. So at the same time, there was an investigation, the allegation was there, still there, and the investigations going under FCID. But again, the minister, the previous minister, education minister, went again with me. What is the situation of this case? Because I want to clear my name. And that time the FCID tape told me, no, nothing going on. We have found out you haven't done anything wrongdoing.
I always want to ask this from a lawyer who is representing Gotabaya Rajapaksa in his election run up to the presidential elections. If Gotabaya Rajapaksa is so sure that he is not at fault, why does he run to court asking for redress prior to being arrested?
Actually, you have the answer, because very recently, senior DIG Prayu Alankara, he just stated that there was a huge political influence to take Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Rajapaksa family members every week. There was a reveal at that time. Before that, I came out from the courts and I came out from the police. I revealed whatever the wrongdoing doing this police. I made the point to the police. But now at the moment, it's revealed now from the senior officers from the AGS department. They are revealing there are a lot of pressure from the political camp, from the bribery commission director general. She has revealed. Right. So there are a lot of senior officers. So actually, I must say, this is the last thing. You know that Honorable Johnson Fernando was acquitted from High Court Kurnagal. I was there. The lady who came to give evidence against Johnson Fernando, she was crying on the witness cage. Why? She told the judge, these police officers threatened me to recorrect the evidence. That's what I did. What happened? He was acquitted and released.
Thank you very much, Attorney Adla Prema Dulawata. I now move my attention to Lihini Fernando, UNP Municipal Councillor, supporting the candidature of New Democratic Front candidate Sajid Premadas, who is contesting under the symbol of the swan. Lihini, interestingly, you say that from 2015 to 2019, 2018, you cannot take into account because there was a lot of problems within governance. Let's say so, for your advantage.
Which is a fact.
For your advantage, for the
Not
moment.
it was evident, I would say.
Let's say, okay, for your advantage at the moment, let's say, okay, it is so. But there was a Ranil Wickremesinghe government again appointed in December. It's been 11 months now. Tell me, what have you all done to bring those corrupt to book?
I can give you a list of if you're asking me to corrupt a book.
No, so corrupt those who are corrupt to book. Now let's say, example, you all said during campaigning in 2015 about gold and horses, said about bank accounts in Dubai, spoke about the DA Rajapaksa Museum and so on and so forth. You all had a good 11 months. Good 11 months.
We had a justice minister who resigned. That itself, I would say, is an achievement which has never happened in the history of this country.
I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about from December. Now, that is before 2018.
No, so
prior to the coup.
it was during
now,
the Havana. So this is what we have done.
We are talking specifically after the coup. We are talking about December. From December to now, you all had a good 11 months. What have you all done?
So we have, if you want me to tell you about the government work which we have done, projects, the Gamperaliya project, investing 3,000 million across rural development, then looking after, then if you take the whole health sector, giving free stents and to people, then what do you call this, Akshika, we've given those free and
all prior,
yeah.
all prior to 2018
So 2018
October.
we started the Gamperaliya project, through which a lot of rural roads were developed. The rural development of this country happened in a massive scale around the country. That was, I think, is a huge achievement, all from giving electricity to shelter to everything in the country, where we looked after the poor, and of course Samurdhi was given to certain people, not just as a dole but as to empower the people. That is the objective of giving Samurdhi in this government. So we have significantly done many things after 2018 per se, and also we must understand that we were not given the government on a platter. There were many white elephant projects that were done, and there's a huge debt threshold which this present government had to carry, and a lot of baggage. So with the baggage they have delivered, which I think is a significant thing from a layman's point of view, looking at it. And also more than that, I would say democracy.
Your economic growth stands at very paltry, not even 3%. What is development? You're talking about development.
See, economic growth, there are two ways of measuring development. There's sustainable development, there's infrastructural development. From a sustainable development point of view, people point of view, health sector point of view, livelihoods point of view, yes, there is development for the people, because we have done for the people in this country. You need to take people out of this whole poverty threshold in this country. That's one of the key factors which the UNP government has focused on, which I would say was a community that was neglected prior to 2015. Also,
cost of living index has gone up, Palihini, and you're saying that the poverty levels in Sri Lanka has improved since your...
So no, I can give you a list of, not cost of living, that I can give you a list of how the pricing of essential goods have gone down in comparison to 2005 to 2015 to 2019 at present, how the consumer goods the prices have reduced drastically. So if you want, I can present a list of it.
No, we'll look at the list, yeah. We'll look at the list momentarily. But I want to open the floor for questions from our journalists.
Can I answer one question of my friend?
Yes, when we open the floor for questions, you can probably speak. Yes, I will give you an opportunity as well, Dr. Jayanta. So let's start off with John.
Yeah, well, if we take a look at this year's presidential election, we see more focus is given compared to the past years on policies. But experts, they raise up some criticism that socio-political policies, there's a bit of a contradiction between socio-political policies and economical policies. How would you address that issue? We've seen, well, if you take a look at Sajith Premadasa's manifesto and Gotabaya Rajapaksa's manifesto as well, there's a large number of tax slashes. So when either one of those candidates, or well, from the alternative, when one of those candidates are elected, how will they actually finance the economy of the country with such a number of tax slashes and other certain promises that they are promising the people to be given?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Just to rebut on it, on Honorable Gotabaya Rajapaksa's manifesto, the tax slashes, if you take the loss to the country by slashing the WHT, the loss is 52 billion. VAT is 247 billion, corporate tax loss is 96 billion. So his tax threshold, which he has promised, is going to give this country a loss of 630 billion, where the deficit is going to go up from 5.5% to 9%. Now, when it comes to what Sajith Premadasa has proposed, he on this whole tax structure, he has said that NDT and VAT will be combined together, and we are increasing the tax VAT threshold of the SME sectors from 1.1 million to 4 million, as well as 12 million to 50 million. So that is how we are going to develop the country, develop the economy, by bringing this this whole startups, the entrepreneurs, and also the SME sector. So, and also by having this economic zones around the country to funnel development. So I would say it's not just promise, but there's a solid economic plan which is to be delivered.
Mr. Dolawat, that was a direct comparison between the two manifestos. How would you react to that?
Thing is, actually, mathematically, they can say whatever the things they have, because already they have been there for 1.5 years. But what I am going to point out, if when the Gotabaya Rajapaksa is governing this country, there will be discipline. There won't be like this kind of behaviors. He will rule the country in a very nice manner. The people expect this kind of behavior from the people. At the same time, the way now investors, after having this new government 2015, all the investors who came to the country, they have gone away. Why? Because of this FCID and other things. Because we don't have enough investors to the country. Definitely when they have this Gotabaya Rajapaksa will take the government, there will be the stability. There will be enough foreign investors, and the same time I must say when the corruption and these kind of things are going to minimize, and this tax issue regarding what they are trying to do is they have introduced for the whole, each single citizen a tax file. Now the Gotabaya will take whatever the taxes to be have to take from the people.
You're saying during Gotabaya Rajapaksa's time, if he's elected president, there's going to be discipline in Sri Lanka.
At the same time, he will take now, for example.
No, I'm asking
yes, definitely,
this question.
Definitely.
So Gotabaya Rajapaksa will not go in shorts to the FCID in future.
Can I also say that?
Again, you are coming to the same question.
Can I also say about women
I must
here?
say. Again, the same question.
You were his lawyer.
Yeah, I must say regarding that. Actually, it was again I have given the answer that was the Sunday. Normally, that's what I am telling. Sunday, normally the police.
Because you said discipline.
I must say, because I was there. I was there. At that time, I was his attorney, and I have to safeguard him because thing is that Sunday normally all the police stations in Sri Lanka open 7 days, 24/7. But this particular FCID, they have closed on Sunday. At the same time, they have to sign there for each of the Sundays they have to sign there. So I must say, what he has done. He used to come shows every single Sunday while because he had a habit of running from Vijayarama to there. Because we have to have open minds. It's not like narrowing this. That is not a court. Because
that's not a fault.
I must say.
Can I answer the
when you said discipline, I thought I should ask.
I must say discipline means the economic discipline. Samir, I want to finish.
Let me give an opportunity, Doctor.
Just give
all right, I'll give you 20 minutes, 20 seconds, and you can respond.
Yes. At the same time, because what happened was earlier, they just look away who are the people can take the taxes more. Like in the Honorable Ravi Karunanaike, he just import lot of vehicles without having proper taxes. We have lodged a complaint against him. Nothing happened. So when the Gotabaya is there, he will take whatever the maximum taxes from the rich people, like whoever the payable people, who is the sufficient enough. But they are asking, this government asked, the Mangala Sabari asked, whoever selling this family, they have asked taxes from them.
No,
that's what they have done, because I know there is the complaint there. I have lodged the complaint regarding there are a lot of vehicles import from Japan. They have taken those vehicles as parts and they gave it to their businessmen. So those are the places which we can gain lot of tax to the country. So those are the people we have to take taxes, not these ordinary people who are selling plants or something like that. Very small people, they are ordinary people. But now at the moment, what Mangala Samitra has done, they have opened tax files for each of us. I believe, Samir, there are really lot of taxes deducted from your salary.
Right.
Am I correct?
Let's get back to Dr. Anil Jayant, and I'll give you an opportunity as well to speak about yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because they were just asking about this comparison between
the
policies and the practicality of all these things, especially the tax cuts and how the revenue is collected. Actually, these politicians know very well. So whatever the promises given, the following day, immediately after the election, so general public forget about it. So they do not carry any substance over which. So as a result, no matter, like, they are not going to implement or cut all these taxes as promised for sure. They will just get on to the old fashion of just conducting these economies for sure.
Will it be the same with your candidate as well?
No. So that is what I'm telling you, that I'm coming to that particular point. So therefore we need to arrest certain things in this economy if you want. Like basically the politicians should not involve with any businesses or public finances with the government. So that is what our supporters and the members and all free from these things, and we have pledged we are not going to do any businesses with the government. So otherwise there's a conflict of interest when it comes to public finance. That's the thing. One of the major things when we deal with public finance is nothing but the corruption. So you need to arrest corruption. So how we can arrest corruption? So to what extent have they talked about? I mean, you can say that I will stop corruption. So how you are going to stop corruption is not explained. If you take the simple example of these things, the procurement is one of the biggest areas. Why these governments from both camps, they accepted and allowed this unsolicited bidding. So if you take the developments of the procurement in the world nowadays, especially World Bank, IMF and all these, the finance providers and sponsored big projects, they never allow unsolicited bidding. So that is why these governments do not want to take big loans for these things. So they go for the market loans. So whereby they can go for unsolicited bidding. Why IMF, World Bank and other big institutions, they recommend specifically now e-procurement. So we have included this thing because I don't say that with e-procurement everything can be stopped, but at least if you implement e-procurement system, it's very, very hard. It gives hard time for corrupt people to corrupt. Even if you corrupt, so you would be easily tracked. So you take the example of cricket last maybe this year. So certain amount of fund has been transferred by using fake account open in Hong Kong or somewhere else. But it was tracked through these forensic audit, through technology. So that is where we are concerned, highly keen on this thing. If we can implement or bring the technology into system to greater extent, we can stop this thing.
So Lynn, you were saying about discipline.
Yeah. So I as a female and as a concerned person, I have this whole issue of how this whole discipline system, as my friend said, will be implemented. So we know 2 or 3 days ago how a disabled person was
Don't lie, because I know the whole incident. I know.
No.
Okay, I have to give
Let's give an opportunity to Lynn to speak and then you can respond.
Yeah, and then we know what happened to Honorable Shirani Bandaranaike. Then we know what happened to Federica Jens and how ladies were victimized during the 2015 during their time. So this whole concept of discipline is a bit of a question when there are many women and many ladies who are victimized. We know recently, I think a UNP lady was assaulted in Mahiyangana, one of the members, due to this political issue, and we see some of these one of the politicians staff firing at people at a rally because he was obstructed. And also we know that we see that how the bottom level people operate. So while having these bottom level
you need to give an opportunity to
bottom level stooges, how will one come and ensure discipline and Lynn Singhal we said the Neetigaruka Samaja? It's a bit
So
difficult.
Premnath, you can respond.
Again, my learned friend, don't narrow-mindedly define this discipline. It's into the whole section. Now, for example, it's not only to the way people behave. It's in the whole sectors economically, the way they are ruling regarding that.
But people are violated, how can they ensure?
But regarding what you are actually you have stopped what I am telling, that don't say lies. Regarding that, I don't want to comment on this. I believe that you started regarding the K-Goal incident and again you stopped. So
yeah, but she did not mention. So you need to.
So that's right. But what I must say, actually, there are from the both camps there are some issues. But I must say we have to look into that. Humans are like that way. For example, if I say that now you can.
So you're justifying?
No, I am not justifying. I am telling, if you are pointing out the our camp, can't you remember the girl, the municipality member, as whatever the position you are holding, the same position she has been holding.
See,
the way that she has called Sajitta Balagamu when the police arrested
we
him.
are bold enough
That's
to say
what.
when
That's
something's
what.
wrong,
So
we admit it's wrong, but we
don't say like that way.
we
But
don't
I'm
have
telling,
allegations and we don't
behaving.
come up and say we are going to come at discipline
That's what
side
I'm
when
telling.
there's
That's what
someone
I'm telling.
against us.
Because you can't just point it out. All the corrupted people are in our camp. There are a lot of people in your camp. So I can figure out that's what happened in this Chilau incident. So what I'm telling, when the society is there, the humans make mistakes, but we have to correct them. We have to ask them to behave. And what I pointed out, Honorable Gotabaya will rule the country in a nice manner, because the people wanted kind of ruler like that way. That's what their expectation.
So you're saying that the people want a dictator?
Not the dictator. The people who, whatever the necessary judgment, whatever the necessary plan, he should act in a nice manner and a correct manner. For example, if I say, Now when this Easter attack incident, if there will be, if the president Mahinda Rajapaksa will be there, he would have been there. Definitely, he would acted very correctly. And the same time, what I'm telling regarding this Sajid scam, actually, I'm really sorry regarding Honorable Sajid, because there is no one to consult him.
Let's talk about Gotabaya Rajapaksa. I'll give you an opportunity here now. Premnath, let's talk about, do you remember Vimal Veeravansa opposite the United Nations headquarters?
Yes.
You remember that incident very well. And do you remember the incident about the call that the senior DIG in Colombo received at that time? On the other side of the phone was Defense Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa. It was a telephone conversation.
We don't know regarding that, because it's
There are
because
recordings.
the senior DIG very clearly says
no,
Defense Secretary is on the phone.
That is Samir. Actually,
It was
not.
Vimal Veeravansa played it out, is it?
No, it is actually, we can't figure out who is that. This is again, we are coming to a situation like, okay, how and how this thing happened.
No,
we can't go on this discussion in a prediction, and
No, it's not a
we can't
prediction.
learn.
That
That's
has
not
been
proven.
accepted.
Yeah, that's not
Has
accepted.
been accepted by Vimal Veeravansa as well.
No, that is
At a media
not.
briefing that was
Actually,
held.
I can't speak on behalf of Vimal Veeravansa also, because I am not aware about that thing. I must say, this now
what is going to be the policy of Gotabaya Rajapaksa towards the West, towards the United Nations, towards the Human Rights Council in
actually,
Geneva?
it's a good thing. It's connected to the stability, the trust of a leader, how they will serve to the country. Now, for example, before 2015, 2009, once we won the election, there was a huge allegation we made kind of war crimes. So there were China and Russia to help us on that. But after 30/1, after Mangala Samira went and say we have done kind of war crime, so there is no one to help us, because by own accord we are saying that we have committed some war crimes. Is this the way? That's what I told, that this government is important. We have to have a straight ruler. That's what we have to study ruler. We don't need a ruler to go and say.
In which part of this co-sponsored resolution does it say that Sri Lankan soldiers have committed war crimes?
Definitely, because the Mangala Samay is the person who went and betrayed
the resolution does not in any way say that there was war crimes.
He's the one who betrayed the whole our security personals, and now they are saying that the whole betrayed by the Gotabaya, because the Mangala Samay is the no, actually they are the one who has made this, and they went and they
co-sponsored resolution does not say
that
war crimes
at the end of the day, that's the thing.
committed
That's the
in Sri
thing.
Lanka.
Because we need to that kind of steady leader to the country and take actions very
So
quickly,
I'm going to
and they will.
let Shehan pose a question.
Yeah, so it's since then I'm coming back to the issue of personnel, and you're talking about corruption, and I'm sure you agree that everybody wants equal law across the board, irrespective of what part or which party you are. Mr. Dolawat, since the amendment, the 19th Amendment, the President doesn't have the powers that he had before. So the team becomes very important. You were talking about Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa and enforcing laws and making sure that things are done in a correct manner. But once again, we've already touched on the matter of the Prime Minister. But what about the rest of the cabinet? Are we going to see a return to ministerial positions of certain members of the SLPP? Say, for example, we take individuals who were in Parliament during the October incident, where they threw chili powder across and they threw chairs and assaulted the police officers. Are we going to see a return of such individuals to positions of power?
The thing is, now for the lifetime of the Parliament, there is another 1 year. So whatever they have conducted there, we can't just throw away, because they represent the people power. So when it's come to like 2nd of March, whether I don't know whether the Parliament will be dissolved or not, whether then of course we can have the 2/3 majority from the Parliament, then we can dissolve the Parliament.
So let's
what I'm
skip
telling,
forward to after general election.
Yeah, actually after general election, it's a right the people has. The people must think whether who will be whoever the corrupted, whoever the it should be like. Actually, now after the presidential election, I believe what I what I predict, there will be some MPs crossover, and at the same time they have come to a conclusion to dissolve the dissolve the parliament. There will be some predictions.
We saw former governor of the central bank, Mr. Ajit Niwat Cabral. We saw people such as Mr. Nalaka Godaheva speaking at public platforms on behalf of the SLPP. Will we see such people back in positions such as in the central bank, for example?
Actually,
allegations against
allegations can be made, but it should be proved. Now, thing is, what we are making these allegations, the law and order, the law is not commencing. That's what we are making these allegations. So actually,
but I think Prema, you're shooting in your own foot now when you say there can be allegations, but it cannot. It should be proven.
Proved, yeah.
I think even the central bank bond controvery,
No, actually,
has been proven.
No, it's there is the commission is there.
Yeah.
Commission is there, but because thing is, allegation is even I know this. There are Sujiva Senasinghe who taken 3 million rupees by his own name. Still, no investigation is going on. At least take him and ask what's going on. That's what I am asking. That's why we are making that thing.
So let's talk about before we wrap up tonight's show. I want to talk about presidential pardons, which is now the center of attention these days after the Royal Park murder case. The accused was given a presidential pardon. Let's start off first with Dr. Anil Jayantha. What is the position of the NPP with regard to this recent presidential pardon, and how would the NPP probably act in the future when it comes to presidential pardons?
Okay, so simply it's immoral. So I mean that particular act. And our presidential candidate, Anurakumar Dissanayake, by his own name, has made a statement condemning this thing. So it's not because that the ground that someone is given a pardon. This is, I mean, the presidential pardon is something that has to be exercised with due care and responsibility. So what matters is the proper justification. Because we don't have such a justification. So that is why in Anurakumar Disanayake's letter, so he questions on what grounds he was just given this pardon. So this is the duplicity of these our politicians. So whenever they want to do that and this, mainly what we believe that to have personal gains. On one hand, the same president was just saying that we want to implement capital punishment for certain things, drugs and all this at the same time. So he took this stance. So therefore, we vehemently condemn and reject this decision unless society is given a very good explanation.
Right. Now I move to
and not only the president, the other ministers as well. From time to time, they behave, but I mean they say that they are independent. They do not interfere with anything. But if you take the Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, even he said that. So I stopped kind of actions which were just being moved to arrest Gotabaya Rajapaksa. But he didn't give any explanation how. Even on what grounds. So now he is saying, but just imagine, don't you think that he was interfering?
Right.
Because just I mean, if minister acts in that way and later on claim that I stopped. So without having a proper account on what, because you need to give the independence for the judiciary.
So I want now hear thoughts of Prema Gulawat about this presidential pardons. Now I want to rephrase that question to you a little bit differently. There's discussion now about presidential pardons. When you take a look at the Bar Association, Sri Lanka president issuing a statement said that we've seen such pardons being given in the past. And I can mention a few presidential pardons, but it is not right for me to mention those who have been acquitted or given those presidential pardons. Now, during President Mahinda Rajapaksa's time, Premnath, I don't think it's just for me to mention the names right now.
Before that as well.
On this show.
Before that as well. All the presidents have done that.
All the presidents have done that, and and most of these individuals have committed crime. And it has been proven beyond reasonable doubt. Now there's discussion about presidential pardons. We saw Hirunika Premachandra making a statement about presidential pardons. What would really happen?
Yeah, first of all, I must give the answer in a way.
Yeah.
Legally it's right,
Yeah.
More
Legally, there is no problem.
legally,
There is no
legally,
problem.
yeah, legally
The
is right.
president constitutionally has a right to
Actually,
do so.
moral-
Legally is right, but morally it's not.
Yeah.
So my personal belief, it's there because of like if we are into war or something like that, if they have committed something wrongdoing, so in those instances we have to pardon them and take advantage from them whatever the information or something like that for those instances. But the way they are using is not acceptable.
So you as an individual, you think
Actually, we have to start right now, Samir. regarding-
hypothetically President
we have to start.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa would not make a
violate the right that he was set by the
no,
Constitution.
morally. I'm saying
Morally, yes,
morally he will not give any presidential pardons to anyone.
Yeah, he should.
in
Because
the
thing is actually what I believe. Now, if the society thinks this is not good, it's wrong. We have to start the discussion.
You're not
Yeah.
asking my question.
We have to
My
start the
question is
discussion.
no.
Yeah.
My question is very simple to you.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, let's say Gotabaya Rajapaksa is elected president. You
Yeah.
say that
He
because
won't
he's a
violate.
very- he's
He
a
won't
no-
violate.
No,
He won't-
I'm not.
he
I'm
won't
not
violate,
talking
he
about
won't
the
abuse.
Constitution. No.
He won't abuse
You're-
the power.
No. You're going on the wrong foot again here. It's not about violating the Constitution.
Violating that section regarding
No,
the
yeah, but
president's pardon.
will he or
Yeah.
will he not give presidential pardons to those who have killed individuals or drug convicts or whoever it is?
He won't.
He won't do that.
He won't.
You're 100% sure about
Yeah,
sure about
because-
it. Okay.
because-
Now, what's the position of your presidential candidate,
So we
Sajid
saw
Premadasa, on this?
Honorable Hirunika Premachandra and Honorable Ajit Pedra making a statement on the whole presidential part. See, the fact is, as he said, legally yes, it's possible, but one needs to question whether it's morally sound, because there's a law that is prevalent in the country. Can one exceed the law when the Supreme Court gives a mandate and there's a court process and the case is heard and there's a judgment that is given? Can they override and go and give a pardon? Superseding all of that. So it's a moral question which one needs to consider. And if one person is given, can the same be applied to everybody? So these are factors that one needs to consider from a broader sense.
That's what I'm telling, that we have to start the conversation right now. Then that law is not
Yeah. So maybe the law
not
needs
to
to be
use. Yeah, amended. Yeah, that's what.
probably.
We have to start the discussion
I
right
think
now.
it needs
Yeah.
to be looked at objectively.
Aline, I just want to bring the same question I asked him, Mr. Dolawatha, to you in terms of the matter of the team. And very simply, when former President Chandrika Bandana Kumartunga extended her support to Sajid Premadasa recently, we saw at a press conference, and there were various people who, they signed an MOU.
Yeah.
It was suddenly like the team was back again, of course minus Maithripala Sirisena. So the concern now with many people is, are we going to see a return to status quo almost, even under a Sajid Premadasa presidency? It's the same individuals, just a different head. And also I just want to add in, Sajid Premadasa did say that he's going to bring a new first-time Prime Minister. Could you tell us what you have to say about
I
this?
can talk on a whole policy point of view on what he has stated. He has stated he's going to bring a new team. He's not going to have corrupt people in his government, in his cabinet. So he is very firm on this. So I believe he as a leader will thrive on his principles, and he's a person of word. He will deliver what he says. So on a principle point of view, that's how I can answer your question.
Right then, thank you very much to the two gentlemen and the lady for your thoughts in the first, second, third and fourth rounds. We now go in for a short commercial break. When we come back, it's the final round. Stay connected, stay with Face the Nation. We will be right back.
වර්ෂයේ 1997 දූෂණයෙන් භීෂණයෙන් තොර සාමකාමී සමෘද්ධිමත් රටක්.
ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් ජනතාවගේ පොදු ජනතාවගේ පැත්තේ හිතලා දේශීය ආරක්ෂාව ගැන හිතලා අපේ රටේ ආරක්ෂාව, භූමියේ ආරක්ෂාව, අපේ දේශීයත්වය සහ ලාංකික විශේෂ අනන්‍යතාවය ආරක්ෂා කිරීම සඳහා අපි විශාල වැඩ පිළිසක් නිර්මාණය කරලා ක්‍රියාත්මක
වර්ෂ 2020 ජනපති කවුද?
Welcome back. This is Face the Nation. We are speaking to the representatives of the NPP, NDF and the SLPP ahead of the presidential elections which will be held on the 16th of November 2019, 4 days from now to be very precise. Let's start off the final round with Dr. Anil Jayanta. Dr. Jayanta, why not the two main candidates? And why must the people vote in the NPP this time around at the upcoming elections? I'll give you 2 minutes to make your final pitch before propaganda closes tomorrow.
Yeah, these two candidates, the main two candidates that you refer, though they are two, actually they represent the same policies or same camp, which is well connected with these corrupt regimes and all these things. So therefore, if one of them is elected, so what is going to happen is, so the nation would face all the same repercussions, the bad repercussions, and they will never have economic freedom. So when general public is not having an economic freedom, it is very easy for any ruler to subdue them. So all the time, so they are living with the dependency mentality. So this is how this country was ruled over 71 years. So we categorically say, so request general public, don't be deceived by these fancy promises and all these things, because they are not ready to solve your problems. Just look at the situation in the country. Only a handful of people are just gaining a big pie from the national income. Almost 80% is just taken by few. So the rest is just struggling to live. As of now, 40% is living under the poverty line. So therefore, you have to, it is not simple trust. You better just carefully look at what we say. We don't have any connection with this mafia or corrupt regime or bad practices. So Anura has got a very strong professional team now. Unlike in the past, it's not JVP alone. So this professional team from all these sectors, so we have addressed economy, environment, transportation, health, education. So key drivers in next development, the era, would be health and education. That is why Andhra Kumar Dissanayake says that our key of developing the country is the education. Once the education is developed, of course, it is connected to everywhere. So therefore, you can give us a very fresh mandate. You can, to some extent, trust and see how we would perform, because no one is behind in our camp who is accused for corruption, who is accused for any other bad thing. So no one has been just prosecuted for any other thing as of now. So in that sense, so at the very beginning, so you can have a very good record. You better give us the power and see, we give you a very good promise that we sacrifice at our maximum level to convert this particular country to a better place where everyone can live in harmony and peace with prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anil Jayanta, representing the National People's Power, supported the candidature of Andhra Kumar Dissanayake, contesting under the symbol of the compass. Tall order for you, Premanath. Dr. Anil Jayanta said that none of the corrupt are surrounding Andhra Kumar Dissanayake. I don't think you can say the same thing, nor can Lihini say the same thing. But what is your final pitch for the people of Sri Lanka who would go to the polling booth between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. on the 16th and vote for a candidate? Why must they vote Gotabaya Rajapaksa?
People won't rely on just promises. The people will rely the person who has given his doings, what he has done for the country, the way he has developed the Colombo city, the way he has finished the war. So the people will rely on those actions, not only the promises. So most probably the people of the country, they will go and vote to Gotabaya Rajapaksa because they trust him. They need a change because the whole 4.5 years the country is in a very bad manner, very bad shape. So the people wanted to have a security on their lives, on their children, and wherever they go, they wanted to have a freedom. Not like it's like after 2009 till 2015. So the people need that kind of independence, security. So they need a change, and they wanted to have enough money on on their hand, and they will trust on the actions, not only the promises. So they knew that they have seen the way that Gotabaya Rajapaksa has developed the country, developed the city, developed how he has ended the war. So most probably the people wanted to have a ruler like him. So definitely among these coups, there are a lot of coups going on, there are a lot of spreading, a lot of lies, and same time, what is the, like, it's ethically, it's really wrong to have a Namal Rajapaksa in the list, and they have put after the Gotabaya Rajapaksa. This is a way of handling the democracy without he's doing any, like without doing any political, take part in any political activities. Those are the coups we have to have overcome. So most probably, even though they have put names like same surname, same people, but the Gotabaya Rajapaksa will win as for sure.
Right. Thank you very much, Premnath Dulawat, attorney at law, supporting the candidature of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who is contesting under the symbol of the lotus bud or the pohotut, as they say. The party is the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. Premnath, very quickly before I move to Leni.
Yeah.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa is not a US citizen, is he?
Definitely. No. He actually, I must say, now already today early in the morning also, like.
But were you surprised with
election commission just made his statement very clearly. He has accepted the nomination. He's really sufficient. He really accepted whatever documents, and it's sufficient enough. He has stated the country. He's a citizen of this country, and they have gone to the courts, and again on their petition, they have revealed that he's a citizen of this country. And the other thing, it's not. No. Is it ethically correct? When he has the competition to nullify the competitor, rather than having a good race on the presidential election, this is the way, because they knew that they are going to lose. That's what.
The wife and the son can't even vote.
Thing
the
is,
father
no, they can vote because they are dual citizens. Now, thing is, why they have taken this 19th amendment? Get rid of Rajapaksas. What is this UMP? What are they doing? From the beginning, they have
we can talk until the council come home. But let's move on to Leni Fernando, UNP Municipal Council, attorney at law, supporting the candidature of Sajid Premadasa, who is contesting under the symbol of the swan. The party is the New Democratic Front. Leni, what is your pitch? Why must the people who are watching this show tonight come and vote in for the candidate that you support?
Yeah. So, we have upheld democracy. We need a democratic country. This country doesn't need a dictator. And I value my life, I value my children's life, and I don't want to be taken in a white van the next day. We need to have a freedom of speech. We need to, you people need to have the right media freedom. So this is the victory that we achieved in 2015, and that needs to prevail in this country. So Sajid Premadasa is the only candidate who will give that to the people of this country, because he is not a dictator. He will develop the country through a democratic process. And also he's a young leader.
She'll finish it. She has wrapped now.
Because I just took my policies not like this wrong accusation. Then I have to answer because white man
you can't make new arguments.
Okay,
that's what.
Right.
She has because within this entire discussion there was no regarding this white man thing. Then I give me opportunity. I'll just answer.
That's not fair.
I'll just answer.
That's democratic country. It's only fair if I give an opportunity to Premnath as well, because the white man story was not brought in any of the arguments that you brought forward.
Let me say, we need a democratic country, and he's a young leader.
No, I'll give you an opportunity to respond, but I'll give 20 seconds to Premnath, and then you can have your final 1 minute.
Actually, those those white man tradition has taken to these countries by UNP. I have gone through this Batalanda Commission. In page 57, there is a young guy called Earl Sugi Perera. Earl Sugi Perera was abducted in Kiribati by a white man, and afterwards he has given the evidence in Batalanda Commission saying that there are a lot of young people abducted by the
right. Now
commission.
you have
Yeah,
you
now
have
you
to
can-
say.
yeah.
So-
I'll give you 40 seconds to wrap.
So my argument is Sajid Premadasa is a young leader. He doesn't promote religion, extremism in this country. We don't funnel racism in this country. We come to this table with unity in diversity, development through a democratic framework. And we have put down a very, very solid policy, a solid manifesto where people can be part of this whole development process. And he's saying that we are going to do a social revolution in this country where he will eliminate racism, drugs as well as corruption. So he's the only leader who has come forward, and he's coming with a young team, young educated team. He said that he will have a meritocratic system where the right people will be appointed to the right place, where the state sector will be made efficient, where economy will be a competitive economy and a just and fair society. And also mostly he has recognized the importance of ladies and given the 52% in this country the due place, which I think was marginalized to a larger extent, where we have to fight for our position. So all ladies watching this, I would say there's not a single candidate who has stood up for the rights of the ladies. And also he says implementing women's commission and legislating
Thank you
this.
very much. Thank
So
you very much,
this is one of the reasons I think.
I asked a
Judge.
question from Premnath as well after he spoke about the citizenship of Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you also a question. So this right people to the right place, it's not the same scientific way in which Maithripala Sirisena appointed his cabinet, right?
Yes.
Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Anil Jayant, for joining us tonight on the show. Lihini Fernando, attorney at law, as well as Prema Dulavat, attorney at law. Thank you very much, Shahan. Thank you very much, John, for joining us tonight on Face the Nation. It's always a pleasure to have the two young journalists joining us on the show tonight. I leave you with a quote, as I always do. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Go on to the polling booth on the 16th of November. You have the time between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Vote for the candidate who you think can change course of this country and can have a wonderful future for the future prospects of Sri Lanka. Take care and good night.